Hello, thank you for joining us. Good afternoon, everybody. As we wait for people to trickle in, we'd love to hear where you're from. Do you want to put into the chat where you're from while we're waiting for everyone to trickle in? Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm going to give it another minute and then we'll start. We have people from Southern and Northern California. Hello, hello. And Central Valley too. Good to see you all. Thank you so much for joining us, and a very warm welcome to all of you. Before we begin, I want to take a moment to acknowledge those impacted by the recent fires in Southern California. Our hearts go out to the survivors. You are in our thoughts and our prayers. If you are here looking for resources to help your business recover, I encourage you to visit our dedicated webpage for Southern California wildfire resources. And this page is being continually updated, and resources will be added as we go. Please make a note of this page. Good afternoon again. I'm Shruti Narayan, the Northern California Resiliency Training Coordinator with the Outsmart Disaster Program. Joining me is Susana Ramirez Munoz, our bilingual resiliency training coordinator. Susana is in Southern California. Together, we look forward to guiding you through this important step toward strengthening your business against disruptions. As someone who has also run a small business, I understand how hard it is to carve out time for additional commitments. So please know your presence today is really appreciated. This training is brought to you by the California Office of the Small Business Advocate. Our mission today is to help you prepare your business for a wide range of challenges, not just natural disasters like earthquakes and wildfires, but also everyday disruptions like power outages and supply chain issues. To make this training actionable, all the resources you need are available on our website, outsmartdisaster.calosba.ca.gov. You'll find the Resiliency Roadmap booklet there, which includes forms and all the links that we'll reference to today. We'll also share those links on our chat, but you'll find all of those in that booklet too. When you visit the site, the first white box with 3 buttons is where you'll find this resiliency roadmap. If you prefer to fill out electronic forms, those are also available for download on the site. Please let us know in the chat if you run into any problems, and one of us will be happy to help you download both of these resources. While you're doing that, we'll go through a little bit of introduction about Outsmart Disaster. When you hear the word disaster, I want us to start thinking beyond large-scale events. For a small business, even a power outage is, something that causes significant interruption. Our goal is to equip you with the tools to bounce back from any disruption, no matter the size of it. Before we continue with this workshop, I'd like to quickly read our disclaimer. Outsmart Disaster is a disaster awareness campaign that includes a no-cost business continuity training program offered by the California Office of the Small Business Advocate, CalOSBA for short. CalOSBA employees support the program in a training capacity only. CalOSBA does not make any recommendations or guarantees and assumes no responsibility concerning the activities of participating businesses. Participants and not CalOSBA are responsible for all actions taken following the Outsmart Disaster training. Now that we've got the disclaimer out of the way, let's get started. Your commitment today could make all the difference for your business tomorrow. Before we move on, a little bit about who we are at CalOSBA. We are part of the Governor's Office of Business and Economic Development. CalOSBA's mission is to represent and elevate the voices of the Californians' 4.1 million small businesses. Small businesses are the backbone of California's economy. Our office connects small business owners and nonprofits with resources and information to start, manage, and scale your small business. We have a statewide business support network to expand access to capital and new market opportunities. We also support disaster awareness initiatives to increase the resiliency of our small businesses. That's what Outsmart Disaster is all about. We offer direct support for small businesses through direct relief grant and credit enhancement programs also. Let's also talk now about why having a business continuity plan is critical for your business. Did you know that 25% of businesses never reopen after a disaster, according to FEMA? That's a staggering number. Just imagine if your lot has 4 businesses, only one is going to open after a disaster. So, but with a well-prepared plan, with a well-prepared business continuity plan, you will be reducing this risk and you'll be ready to come back up faster too. So a BCP helps you prepare during calm times, during blue skies, and so when disaster strikes, it's, you're better prepared. Because when disaster strikes, it's too late to start preparing. So with a BCP, your team will already know what to do. It'll ensure safety. A well-trained team can reduce chaos and prevent injuries. Businesses that conduct regular emergency drills report a 70% boost in staff confidence during a real emergency. It also minimizes loss. Your financial losses can be huge. Planning ahead can reduce financial losses by up to 50%. So every dollar they say that you put into disaster preparation saves you $13 in recovery cost. So building customer trust also is a big part of the recovery effort. So being prepared, you build a lot of trust with your customers as well. Today, we'll talk about how you can create a business continuity plan using the Business Resiliency Roadmap booklet that you must have just downloaded. The booklet covers different parts of a business continuity plan. We'll talk about how you'll identify your risks. You'll identify the potential risks in your region. We'll look at what resources and tools are available for you to help understand the risks in your region. We'll talk about communications, having contact information for employees, suppliers, having a communication plan, how we'll keep in touch with them so should there be an interruption is something that we should think about when the skies are blue. Operations. What is your particular business's most important process? Are they documented? What equipment do they require? We'll also talk about hazard mitigation planning. What can you do to reduce the impact of these events? Insurance and finance. What type of insurance coverages are available? Having an emergency fund, line of credit. How do you go, how do you get a disaster assistance if you need it? We'll also talk about creating and testing emergency plans You will talk about developing your plan, how you'll train employees, test the plan, update plans. Overall, we want your business to build resiliency through preparedness actions. Investing in resiliency and continuity planning will help your business bounce back quicker after a disruption. So, what actions can you take to strengthen and harden your business beforehand is what we're going to stay focused on. Before we dive into the details, we would like to introduce you to a business. We call it the Mom and Pop's Kitchen. We will use their business as an example throughout this training. We ask that you keep your business in mind as you go through the training, so to customize your business resiliency roadmap for your business. So Mom and Pop's Kitchen is a local, small, family-owned restaurant. It has 5 employees. It's located in Los Angeles County, and they rely heavily on equipment, their supply chain, and their employees. Their business financial goals and obligations are dependent on their payroll, their insurance, their contracts, and their building is located in a strip mall. I'm also going to briefly talk about what business continuity is versus business resiliency. Business continuity ensures that your business can maintain operations during a disruption. So for Mom and Pop's Kitchen, during the recent COVID-19 pandemic, this meant staying open by implementing social distancing, sanitation, and takeout services to keep serving customers safely. Whereas business resiliency, on the other hand, focuses on adapting and growing through challenges. So for Mom and Pop's Kitchen, this could mean launching online cooking classes, offering meal kits, and partnering with local farms or kitchens and finding new ways to thrive. So, thinking about ways that you may need to pivot your business should you have to interrupt. That's business continuity versus business resiliency. And we want you to start thinking about that. With that, I'm going to now ask Susanna to take you through the next part of this training and she'll talk to you about your risks and how you would mitigate that.
Hello, my name is Susana Ramirez Munoz. Shruti had just introduced me, but so let's get started on your customizing your business resiliency roadmap. So the first step is understanding the real risk to your business. For example, in your operations, you want to ask yourself, what type of hazard could interrupt my business for long enough to directly impact revenue? So California is prone to many different types of natural disasters, and unfortunately, as we have seen in LA fires, and just want to say that our hearts and thoughts are out to those who have been impacted by the fires. It's a challenging time for us Angelinos, but thank you for being here today again. So each of California's 58 counties has its own distinct characteristics, challenges, and hazards. When evaluating your risk, you should consider what are the potential threats to you locally. So we have natural disasters, as Shruti had mentioned, floods, earthquake, fires, man-made hazards, terrorism, cyber attacks, and supply chain issues. So you want to assess the impact of these disasters, how each risk could affect your operations, and if you want to prioritize risk, and you want to prioritize these risks based on the likelihood and impact to your business. So for example, in the event, or for example, through Mom and Pop's business is located in LA, And they rely on vendors if they rely on vendors from Central California, it's possible that their business will be indirectly impacted um, by business disruptions in other parts of the state. So, in considering your potential threats to your business, keep the following things in mind. Where are your products and service made and sold? How do you normally receive supplies from key vendors? And what are your most critical resources? So when businesses are trying to determine what threats they should prepare for, we encourage you to start with the following steps. Figure out what your risk is by reviewing the National Risk Index tool from FEMA. This tool will tell you what the risk level is in your county for 18 different types of events. And this tool is available for everyone here, and we will place the link on the chat. Um, and all you need to do is click on Explore Map, just select your county, and then you create a report. So let me show you real quick here. So let me do a demo. You want to explore the map. Since we're talking about mom and pops, let's do Los Angeles. I did Bakersfield. I want to do Los Angeles. And then here on the right-hand side, you're going to see the index tool, and it gives you all types of risk overview and the hazard type risk ratings. Here we see earthquakes at 100%, very high, heat wave, and landslides, lightning, and so forth. So all this, you could do it in your based on your location. So also, you could find your local hazard mitigation plan. Um, your county should have a local hazard mitigation plan in place and available on their county website. Um, and if you don't find the county's local hazard mitigation plan, then you can use the National Risk Index tool that I just showed you. And we want to share these tools just so you can use either of them. Either go to your county and find the local hazard mitigation risk there, or you can use the National Risk Index tool. So once you find your risk, you can jot them down on Form 1 and rank your threats by probability and severity. You get a total. So based on the total you get anywhere from 17 to 25, you will need to prioritize those first. So mom and pops would add a 5 under probability and a 5 on the severity under earthquake. Just because they're located in Los Angeles, and as we saw, earthquake is at 100% risk index. So that's how we got that 25. So this will let them know that they need to prioritize and prepare for that earthquake. So there are times when your business has a unique risk, for example, being next to a nuclear plant or a train track, or if your business uses any types of dangerous machinery or resources like toxic chemicals that can also cause serious harm. So you want to consider those in your plan as well. So now that we assessed our risk, let's talk about creating a communication plan. So effective communication is crucial during a disruption, during and after a business interruption. You will need to reach out to your employees before you can get your business back up and running. So it's important to collect your employees' contact information right now. So what kind of contact information should I collect from my employees? So to create your communication plan, you can use Form 2. And as an example, Mom and Pop's Kitchen, they have 5 employees. So our contact information should have details of each of the 5 employees, which should include, their personal number, home address, email, emergency contact, out of area contact. Make sure to document any other information about them that might be relevant, such as what are the key responsibilities of each of these 5 employees, who is assigned a backup for each person. Does this person have any special skills or certification? Does this person need accommodations? Or do they need any type of medical device? So having this information documented for all your employees is crucial in order for you to continue your business operations following a disaster. With this information, you can ensure that you can relay the messages to your employees through an emergency call tree or any types of communication. And once you have your employees' contact information, begin thinking about all the other key contacts, such as your community. Get to know your community every time there's a major disaster. Um, Data shows that before any help comes in, the community stands up for each other. So take the time to get to know the resources available in your community and identify the resources that you would be able to provide. So, for example, mom and pop's kitchen rely heavily on the refrigeration. They would need a place to refrigerate its goods so they don't spoil. So, who are the others in the community that may have a refrigerator or an extra generator to spare in case there's a power outage. You want to get the contact information for your vendors and suppliers. Um, Such as company representatives and offices, their account numbers. Make notes of potential backups also. For Mom and Pop's Kitchen, for example, the supplier would include local farms, a wholesale distributor, beverage suppliers, kitchen equipment maintenance, technology service, just to name a few examples on that. Also, you want to have all the contact information for your utility companies. Um, this list depends on your location and the industry that you're in. The most common are electric, water, natural gas, internet, and telephone. Keep a list of your customers, a comprehensive customer list. This allows you to maintain transparency during challenging times and keeps your customers informed about any disruptions in your services. And also local emergency services. Identify your key local authorities and agencies such as CalOES, your fire department, police, poison control. Local chamber of commerce may be a good source of information in an emergency, even if you're not a member. They can still provide some information for you. So the information you provide here will become your crisis communication plan. So how do I receive emergency notifications? Look for downloadable apps that can alert you or different events, such as My Shake app. Sign up for emergency text alerts from your local county. Cal Alerts, for example, we're going to add some links onto the chat right now. And also FEMA. So you want to identify radio stations also that provide emergency alerts in your area. And remember that cell communications may be down, so keep a portable radio at your business location. We're going to be sharing a link also from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration that explains why every business should own one of these radios and how it can be how you can keep your employees and customers safe in an emergency. So the reason we're highlighting the portable radio is because, again, your community is your first line of defense. And now Shruti will take us through understanding your critical businesses process.
Thank you. Thank you, Susanna. Give me a second. I will. Susanna, I suggest you continue sharing the screen. I apologize.
Sure, no problem.
Thank you. We good?
One second.
Okay.
Do you see it?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Give me a second. So let's talk about understanding your operations. You know your business best. Like nobody can tell you what you do every day. We want you to start thinking about your business. In this section, we want you to think about what processes generate the most revenue and what prepares you to back up your processes, how you'll go about doing things and continue running operations in the face of disruption. like I said, you know your business best. So, but during an interruption, stress, power outages, and communication issues can make it really hard to act quickly. It's important to identify the processes that generate the most revenue and have backup plans to have to keep those processes running. So even during disruptions, let's understand what I mean by, operations. And again, I'm going to talk about mom and pop's kitchen and their operation processes. So when we talk about operational processes for mom and pop's kitchen, they rely, one of their biggest sellers is homemade chili. So they rely on their homemade chili for most of their revenue. So that would be a key process that they want to keep running during an interruption. So for them to have that running, they want to have some of their key ingredients for the dish and also, uh, prepare backup suppliers for receiving those products. So do they know who their suppliers would be? Say a supply chain issue happened maybe in Northern California. The next thing we want to talk about your sales processes. Mom and Pop's Kitchen gets their sales from local word of mouth catering and direct customer interactions. So keeping these channels open during disruption helps maintain cash flow. For your business, think of lead generation, negotiating, and sales. Supporting business processes. What are supporting business processes? Behind the scenes, tasks like staff scheduling, accounting, and equipment maintenance are crucial. Ensuring quick fixes and smooth operations keeps everything running. Think think about your HR, accounting, IT, and supplies. Management processes. Strategic planning and budgeting need to continue even if revenue drops. Owners should have a plan to allocate resources during tough times. So you should have some amount of resources for tough times. And then some processes are also tied to specific obligations. Say legal obligations. So are you staying compliant with health and safety regulations during a crisis? You may have contractual obligations too, like fulfilling mom and pop's kitchen may have to fulfill catering orders or pay penalties if they're unable to fulfill a catering order. There may be regulatory obligations too, like maintaining valid business permits and licenses. Financial obligations, like you have to make sure employees are paid on time. By documenting and prioritizing these processes ahead of time, you'll be ready to manage what's most crucial during any interruption. All of your business processes require certain equipment and resources to continue operations in addition to documenting the business processes themselves. We also should be documenting equipment. So focus on the equipment needs that you perform processes with. So just whatever you just identified, document all of this and the make, the model, um, each piece of equipment, where it was purchased, replacement cost, vendor contact information, should you need anything done to it, warranty information, etc. So some of the equipment that mom and pop's kitchen may need could be stoves, oven, fryers, refrigerators, and freezers. You also want to document your IT equipment. So no matter the size of your business, you're likely to use some amount of IT equipment in day-to-day operations, even if it's just a cell phone and a laptop. Create an IT inventory to document all of these critical computer hardware and software that your business uses. Include the model number, warranty information, technical support, contact numbers, etc. Also include key contact information and license agreement for software applications in case you need to reinstall the software. Here for mom and pop, they would include their cash register and laptop for online ordering. Record your vital records also. They are critical to your business survival, right? You will need to ensure that certain vital business records are protected by securing them in a waterproof and fireproof container. But also make sure they are easily accessible. Some examples to include would be tax receipts, insurance policies, bank account information, deeds, emergency plans, employee contact lists, policies and procedures, articles of incorporation, and personal and customer records, etc. So I want to again remind you of the 3-2-1 rule. That's the rule for all of your business continuity planning documents. So you have to have, if you follow the 3-2-1 rule, you have access to your documents from anywhere. So for data security, back up your records using this rule. So maintain 3 copies of your data, 1 primary and 2 backup. 2 media types. Store backups on at least 2 different media types. So hard drive and cloud storage would be good. Explore free cloud storage options if budget is a concern. But make sure it's a secure place where you can password protect things. 1 offsite copy. Always keep 1 backup copy offsite. Don't keep everything in your business. So with that, we talked a little bit about how you'll keep your operations in place. Well, let's now talk about hazard mitigation. Now that we've assessed our risks and we know what our risk analysis is for our particular business, we can plan for what to do if the worst happens. Although no one can prevent these events from happening, you can invest some time and resources to mitigate them. These actions can help your business to continue operations should there be an interruption. So again, our objective is to empower you with actionable steps to lessen the impact of potential disasters for your business. Form 8 can guide us in hazard mitigation planning. We leverage FEMA's research-based resources. So when planning, you should consider special building features. We'll share some of these resources from FEMA here. Every business has unique requirements. For example, mom and pop's kitchen needs cold storage. If their strip mall had another location with cold storage, it could be a cold storage backup area for them. Consider your inventory. Supply chain delays could, prevent quick restocking. Focus on storing essential resources for the most profitable and valuable services if space is limited. Look into keeping more inventory in stock. Also consider that you might not be able to restock quickly. If space is limited, focus on the most valuable services for your customers and keep those resources in stock for, to continue a profitable business process. Here are some key resources that can assist you in mitigation planning. That's the FEMA Protective Action resource that this offers practical guidance for preparing businesses during response. FEMA's hazard information sheets. These fact sheets help plan for various hazards. The ReadyGov toolkits are tailored for specific hazards like earthquakes, floods, power outages, and they can help you get prepared for each risk that you may have seen on a priority. Mitigation actions range from simple DIY measures to complex solutions requiring professional help, such as consulting an engineer for rebuilding something. Our goal is to provide tools and knowledge to help reduce the impact of disruption on your business. At this point, I'm again going to hand over the mic to Susanna to talk about insurance and finance. Thank you.
Hello, hello. Okay, so 1 second, sorry. So understanding a critical element of business resiliency is a realistic assessment of current insurance coverage. So most small businesses are underinsured. So you want to make sure you keep your insurance up to date and reassessing as your business grows and changes. You must also take a detailed look at your finances, how long your business, to see how long your business could survive during the disruption. So how do I assess my current level of insurance coverage? So all businesses should review their insurance coverage at least once a year. You should do it more often if you're a highest risk zone or if you have made any major changes to your business operations. Talk to an insurance broker. They should be able to keep you up to date with insurance coverage. We're also going to provide a link on the chat for a small business insurance guide from the Department of Insurance. This guide informs you on the different types of insurance you may want to consider, and we'll go over common terminology used in the insurance industry. The Department of Insurance has an outreach team that helps business owners understand the insurance coverage available to them. So I urge you to contact them, and they should have somebody to answer any questions you may have on that insurance. So financial preparedness starts with knowing which obligations take priority, um, which bills need to be paid first. For example, your payroll and insurance are a high priority because if you don't pay your insurance, it can lapse, and if you don't pay your employees, they will not be showing up for work. So having an emergency
Just a
fund.
minute, Susanna. A double screen is showing up on your screen share.
A double screen. Oh,
I'm seeing a little bit of your.
Interesting. Hold on 1 second. Apologize for that. Mm, yeah,
That's okay. We can go on. I think that's good.
can you see my current? Hold on 1 second.
I think you're good now.
I think you're sharing. That's not my screen.
Ah,
I think
okay.
you're sharing. Hold on 1 second.
I was wondering what's happening. Apologize. Do you want me to continue or you continue and I can share screen?
Yeah, go ahead and share screen. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Apologize for this. Um, Is that better?
Yes, that's it.
Okay, perfect. So where was I? So having an emergency fund will be your financial safety net. Establish emergency cash fund or a line of credit to ensure access to funds when needed, and calculate how much money your business will need to survive a 3, 10, and even a 30-day shutdown. Assign somebody that's trustworthy to have access to it and decide how the money will be used in specific scenarios if you're not available. In addition, consider alternative payment methods like cash, in case a debit or credit cards don't work during an emergency. You have that cash as a reliable form of payment. Also consider a backup payroll plan to continue to pay your employees. Backup plans such as a secondary vendor or a cloud-based system, or even a simple checkbook in hand. This is necessary in case you lose your computer or don't have any access to the internet. Um, So use Form 9 to help you evaluate your insurance and finances, documented all here. And again, you could find these forms on our website. You could just go ahead on there and download those there, just in case you haven't been able to see those, but it's available on our website. The forms will help plan with cost management. So understanding your risk and identify potential financial consequences of various disruptions allows for informed planning and budgeting for these emergency expenses. So this form will help evaluate the protective measures you need. For example, prioritizing financial obligations, developing a plan to prioritize essential financial commitments during a disaster. And payroll consideration. We mentioned exploring the cloud-based payroll system for uninterrupted services. Plan for how long you can continue paying your employees during these disruptions. So when it comes to disaster recovery and financial records, having a well-organized financial system streamlines the application process for disaster loans should you need them in the future. If you do lose documentation, there's state agencies that are able to help you get copies of those. Look into financial implications of your business process, revisit the prioritized business processes. And are these financial obligations associated with these processes? Develop plans to fulfill these obligations and how you will be paying for those. So use Form 9 to document it all here. And by taking these proactive steps to build a robust financial shield for your business and recover faster. So how can you get disaster assistance? So before we start talking about disaster assistance, we want you to know first that you play a huge role in getting resources to your area. Resources are not released until there's enough data of damage and property loss. So if a disaster occurs, make sure to report any damages to your local county and government emergency agent personnel. A federal disaster is only declared when there's a significant amount of damage caused by the event. So your local government reports these damages to the state, and then the state asks the president for a disaster declaration. Hence, reporting these damages is critical to helping your community. So once a disaster is declared, this opens up funding to help businesses get back up and running. Some of those fundings come from FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, as individual assistance. Um, FEMA's Individual Assistance Program is designed to help disaster survivors with basic critical needs, such as a safe and sanitary and functional place to live while survivors look for long-term or permanent housing. So FEMA should be your first stop and complete their application. You could do that online on their website. And then apply for the SBA loans for the Small Business Administration. And you can use the SBA loans for losses not covered by insurance or funding from FEMA, both personal and business. And also for business operating expenses that could have been met had the disaster not occurred. So these are various different types of SBA loans. The SBA physical damage, that's to repair the physical damage caused to your facility. The SBA economic injury, the economic losses you have experienced related to the disaster. And then there's also an SBA mitigation assistance. Here you have an option when you get an SBA loan to increase that loan by up to 20% for that specific purpose of hazard mitigation. So not only will SBA help you get the funds to rebuild after a disaster, but they'll help you get funds you need to prevent your business from future disasters. In addition, we have the USDA Department of Agriculture has an emergency farm loan, helps eligible farmers and ranchers rebuild and recover from sustained losses. And it mostly applies to tornadoes, floods, and droughts. So important note, I would like to point out, because these funding programs require you to apply and submit various financial statements of your business, we highly encourage everyone to do their best to make sure to monitor your credit score and ensure you're filing your taxes to help you become eligible for this funding. So both can impact your ability to secure that assistance. So to quickly put it all into perspective, let's use Mom and Pop's Kitchen disaster as an example. So of the steps they would take in case there's a disaster. So let's say, for example, there's a major flood that hits Main Street where Mom and Pop is located. The restaurant suffers significant damage to their kitchen equipment or flooring and furniture. The first step they take is to report their damages. Well, actually, first things first is make sure everyone's safe. And then you could report your damages. Immediately, Mom and Pop call their emergency number to report the flooding, damages of the restaurant. They provide details about the extent of the damage, and they take photos for documentation. Very important you document with photographs. Then they report the damage to the insurance by opening a claim, and as a follow-up, Mom and Pop stay informed by checking local news and government website to see if their area qualifies for federal assistance. And then once they do, it is declared a disaster. Once it is a declaration, I'm sorry. Then Mom and Pop's complete the FEMA individual assistance application. While this program might not directly cover business losses, it can help with temporary housing if theirs cannot be occupied due to the flooding. Then they apply to the SBA loans, knowing FEMA might not cover everything. Mom and Pops prioritize applying for SBA disaster loan. They gather all these financial documents like tax returns, and they provide damage estimates. They then look into the loan purpose. Uh, they they specify needing funds for both physical damage, repairing the kitchen, equipment, the flooring, and economic injury, which is the loss of income due to closures. Um, and then they consider mitigation. Mom and Pop explore using the SBA's 20% mitigation increase. This could help them invest in flood-resistant equipment in the future and measures to minimize any future damage. So preparation is key. Again, just want to emphasize the credit score. They just a mom and pop understand that the importance of maintaining a good credit for future loan applications. So they monitor it constantly, and then just filing their taxes. Additional resources. Um, Mom and pop can also check with their local small business development centers, the SVDCs, for further guidance and support in navigating the disasters. And by following these steps, Mom and Pop's Kitchen will be well positioned to assess any resources they need to recover from the flood and rebuilding their business. And you can visit our disaster resource page for additional information. We will also share in the chat the links to this assistance. So a meticulous crafted plan is not is only as effective as it's in the real world application. Practice with various scenarios like fire, a power outage, a flood. Regular testing through drills and simulations is very important. Um, it helps identify weaknesses, help uncover areas in your plan that require improvement or additional resources. It also ensures employees are comfortable with their roles and responsibilities during a disruption. So make sure your employees are regularly trained and take part in the drills. Um, so how would this drills look like for mom and pops? For example, let's consider a fire. They simulate a fire. Employees should know how to use a fire extinguisher and evacuate the building safely. Power outage. Practice taking inventory of procedures by um, using a flashlight and alternative cooking methods, like using a grill outside if it's safe to do so. Water shortage, run a drill on closing the restaurant if the water supply is compromised, and simulate using disposable plates and utensils or following proper sanitation procedures for limited water usage. So by running through these drills, Mom and Pop's Kitchen can identify weaknesses in their plan. For instance, if the fire drill might reveal a need for additional fire extinguishers or more clear evacuation routes. So by testing their plan and assembling a business emergency kit, Mom and Pop's Kitchen can ensure their resiliency plan is more than just words on paper. It becomes more of a practical tool for safeguarding the restaurant during unexpected interruptions. So what should you keep in your business kit? In addition to your basic emergency supplies such as water, batteries, and food, etc., keep all your business continuity forms we discussed here and all the documents that go with it, such as equipment manuals, your critical documents, photos, and receipts of all your equipment, and also your cash reserves. It's important to update your plan every 6 months. Um, or every time there is a major change to your business operations. Um, when when you're impacted by a disaster, please remember there may be state or federal agencies who will also provide support during disasters. For example, the Board of Equalization, you may be eligible for property tax relief and in some cases a refund. Department of Tax and Fee Administration, you may request extensions and relief from penalties. Um, Department of Insurance, you may seek guidance on insurance disputes or claims or file a complaint. And also the Franchise Tax Board, taxpayers may deduct a disaster loss for any loss sustained when a disaster, when it's declared. So their websites are very updated. So I encourage you to look for these also on their website. They're very updated and very helpful. And you could again visit our disaster resource page for additional information regarding all these that I just discussed, all these resources. And we could share the link as well, just in case. So, and with that, congratulations. By joining us today, you have completed your customized basic BCP. Make sure it includes all these checks. You check mark all these and keep it up to date. Ensure all your components of your BCP work seamlessly and that you continue to improve it. In the process of fine-tuning your BCP, you have any additional questions, please reach out to us, the Resilient team, Shruti, Narayan, and myself um, at our Outsmart Disaster email. Thank you for your time. Just go for our contact information here. Thank you for your time. If you can please scan the code and take a moment to fill our survey, we really appreciate it. Your feedback will allow us to continue to improve this webinar. And any recommendation in terms of topics, please send it to us. The most important thing to CalOSBA is that small businesses are all well prepared and resilient to survive the next disaster. We encourage you to spread the word to other businesses and nonprofits in your community and become resilient together. So on behalf of my colleagues and I at CalOSBA, I want to thank you again. And any questions you may have, please put those on the chat and we're going to make the best to answer those. But you could also email us if you don't want to put in the chat. And I'll just open that up.
Survey is not accepting responses. We'll just open it up. Are there any questions?
I think somebody's saying that the
Someone's
survey
attending.
is not accepting responses.
Yeah.
It's okay. We'll go ahead and email that as well. Might have a deadline there that we didn't
Remote.
increase.
Ah.
And you could find the forms
Someone,
again.
sorry.
No, go ahead.
Someone has asked if the links can be emailed to you. So all of the links that we've shared today are there when you downloaded the book. They're all there in the book.
Yeah.
The booklet, when you click on that, you'll find all of the resources.
And the booklet and the forms, you will find them on our website. You could download both of them there.
I see a hand raised. Let me see if I can.
We will email you the presentation PDF format and
Yeah. Jeffrey Smith, I see your hand raised. Would you like to ask something? You can go ahead and unmute yourself. No. Okay. Any other questions? Yes, this presentation has been recorded. It will be up on our website soon. You can always watch it again, but we also encourage you to ask other businesses to sign up. I just shared a little bit before that this whole Outsmart Disaster training is also taken by Susanna in Spanish. I just shared the link with somewhere on top. Yeah, bit.ly/od-Spanish.
yeah. And if you have any questions in Spanish, you could also email that to outsmartdisaster@gobiz.ca.gov, and I'll be sure to answer that in Spanish as well.
And Jeffrey, I believe, yeah, okay. I answered your question.
Yeah,
Okay,
we
any
answered the
other
question.
questions? Thank you. Stay safe, everybody, and please reach out, send us an email should you have any questions. We'll be happy to answer. And we really hope that you will finish your particular business's continuity plan. Thank you.
Thank you.